If you are truly being intentional in your life and you want to find love and you're just over the dating, okay, make sure to subscribe because this is all the things that I'm all about. I found my happily ever after my person. We've been married together for 16 years. So if that resonates with you, if you want no BS, straight advice on how you can find it too, make sure you subscribe. Make this a habit where you can always find out when I post a new episode every Monday and Thursday. I saw this comment on Threads and I'm like, I had to speak to you guys about it because it was so gross. And I didn't even write, a reply to it, but it was basically saying, ladies, what is your plan B when plan A fails, when no man wants to marry you? I'm like, ew, you're so gross. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I there's so many people responding to it and all this stuff. And I didn't even want to engage with that, but it made me start to see things on Threads. I don't know if you're on there, but like so many freaking comments about like women and what they should be doing, and so much pressure. And oh my God, if you're not married, and I knew about this, but it's interesting. I'm just newly into Threads, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like honestly, it's shocking, and it's sad. So I want to speak to you about this whole plan B and plan A bullshit. He said, right? What's your plan B when plan A, no man wants to marry you? Fuck off. That's my first gut reaction, right? My first gut reaction. The other thing is this, I truly am all about your plan should be being your best self, however that looks like. And so you may be doing the job that you love, that lights you up, like investing your time in education, learning about whatever you want to learn about, spending time with your family and friends. Like I really feel like some people have it twisted. They're like, oh, your plan needs to be to get married, and if you don't get married, your value as a human is, decreases or not. And that is the biggest load of shit. And no man chooses to marry you. Fuck off. Like you as a woman, if you're listening to this and you haven't gotten married, it's not because, and I hope this is true, and this is how I truly want you to lean into this mindset, because this is how it should be, where you're so lovable, you're so valuable, you bring so much value into this world. Freaking list it down, like write it out, like what you do every single day that is so freaking valuable, and don't diminish it. Don't, sometimes we're like, oh, be humble. No, I don't want to sound cocky. No, fuck yes, sound cocky. I don't give a shit. We do not speak highly enough about ourselves. We have to be like, wait, are you married? Yes or no? So you're a worthless. Like, what are you talking about, you fucker? Right? So that whole plan A, and if no one chooses to marry you, okay, asshole, let me clearly this upset me. No, because I just feel like there's so many assumptions there, and he's just such an ass, and I wonder how many of you feel this way, where you do feel like no one's chosen you, and that breaks my heart. Like, oh my gosh, that's freaking heartbreaking. And so I want you to know that you are so lovable. And you're not married, not because someone didn't choose you, but instead you haven't chosen someone that is aligned to what you want and what you deserve. You haven't settled. Hell yes. That is something that you should celebrate. Okay? Does that mean that I want you to like go on this life and be like, never settling, so I'm not even gonna bother? Like, instead, it's like, have the unwavering faith that your person, you have there are so many people. Let's just start there, first of all. There's so many great people in the world. Number one, okay? If you think there aren't, you're wrong. So if you feel like, no, they're so hard out there, it's not. Stop telling yourself that. That's bullshit. So start telling yourself they're an abundant mindset. So many people, right? You haven't gotten married. If that's you, okay, but why not? Is this guy right? First of all, is that your plan A? Is that your number one plan? You have to tell me that, yes or no. Is it your plan? Is that number one and hasn't happened? Okay. And if it is your number one priority to get married, okay, I'll give you that. But why hasn't it happened? Is it because no one's chosen you? And so like that part I think hurt the most. I was like, ew, like what the fuck, this asshole? Because it takes away the value from women. I just feel like he doesn't realize how, like, as you are listening to this, I already know how freaking valuable and amazing you are. Like those words would never come out of my mouth, let alone me think it or any of that shit. And so for this guy to be like, you haven't been chosen, I'm like, what a piece of shit for him to think that. And he just lacks emotional intelligence. And he is so gross. Like, I'm just like, I was like, I can't. But not only that, there's probably, people out there that are saying things like that. And I want you to know how wrong, how like deeply wrong they are. And I don't want you and your beautiful heart to ever feel like you're not chosen. And I think that, what you can do is like be really intentional and make a decision. So if your first plan is, I want to get married, I want to find my partner for life, fuck yes, awesome. So the steps are shine your freaking light so bright that it's like, it's impossible for your person to not find you. That's what I want you to do. And what does that mean? If use the different tools, use the different avenues. Don't be so, no, the online dating sucks. Like, don't tell yourself those stories that hold you back, right? So if your plan is to get married, shine your light, kill it at your office or your work, do whatever lights you up, do the sports that you love, do the runs, do the clubs, like the running clubs or the book clubs or the dancing clubs. I don't give a shit. Do the things that light you up. Go out with your friends. Go out and do whatever it is, right? Put yourself in speed dating things. Put yourself out there, right? But then you know that you're going to choose who is right for you. You gotta know that. You just have to feel that. Like, I am so lovable. Of course, everyone's going to like me. Of course. And if you don't feel that way, I'm going to just say fake it till you make it, honestly. Like, I'm going to tell you about inner work all day long, but if you're not going to go to therapy or go to coaching, fine. Just fake it till you make it, okay? Look at yourself in the mirror and tell you how freaking amazing you are. But you got to walk out in this world where you are so valuable. You are so worthy. So when people with these really limited, stupid thoughts, like seriously, come at you from any side of you, you easily are like, oh, that's bullshit. That's total bullshit. I know my worth. I know how valuable I am. I haven't chosen my person yet. I haven't found my person yet. But hey, I haven't lost the faith. So like those two things are so important. And this is where I want to hear from you. I want to know, do you, number one, really want to find your partner? And number two, do you really believe and have that faith and believe that your partner exists and is out there in the world? Two things. Or is it totally not your plan at all to ever get married or find your partner, and you're just going with the flow, which, by the way, I hate going with the flow shit. You know that. I always say this and I'll say it again. I'm all about being intentional. So when you go with the flow, next thing you know, you're in bed with somebody that's totally not aligned to you and you're stuck in a situationship for months on end and then you're feeling like shit. Okay, so I don't like going with the flow. So number one, tell me in the YouTube or in YouTube comments or on Instagram, the JkL&x. Tell me, where do you land? Do you truly want to get married, find a partner? Number one, is that your plan A? Tell me that. Do you feel like this guy was right? Like, do you feel like you weren't chosen? That feels so like hard, like crunch, right? Like breaks my heart. But tell me the truth. Like, be vulnerable about that shit. Like, let me know if this fucker, like, if that really triggered you. Well, it clearly triggered me because in my past, I have felt like that. So that's where this is coming from. It's like I was where many of you have been, where you don't feel like you're enough. You don't feel chosen. So I think that's where I read it and I'm like, how dare you, you fucker? Like, how dare you say that? And I think that's why it pissed me off, because it's so hurtful to the old Jackie, like me. And, you know, where I am now, you have to get to that other side of it where you're like, oh no, you get that confidence in yourself. You know your worth, you know your value. And you don't just say it or fake it, but you know it to your core. But like, I'm thinking of all of you, any of you who are at that point where, you know, it does feel that way, that you're not chosen. So I'm here to remind you, okay, of how worthy you are, how freaking valuable you are. And you're the badass bitch that you're the one choosing. You're the one choosing. And I just want to make sure that you know that and you're creating the space to attract and receive that person. Let me know. Reach out to me, the Jackie Loor on Instagram or on YouTube. I love connecting with you guys. And as you're going through life intentionally, remember, it has to be crazy love or nothing. Thank you for listening.